So a month ago, I read out a report in a video that Ruben Amorim had given the Manchester United hierarchy a 2-week deadline to bring in signings in the January window, ideally a left wing back. Well, with the 14th of January, we're exactly 2 weeks into the January window. There's not been one out, there's not been one in. What is going on inside Manchester United? I know funds are tight, I know funds are limited, but we're having the same Rashford news every day. Who is coming in? Who are the targets? Are we going to get a left wing back, which Ruben Amorim desperately needs? Are we going to strengthen an attack? If Marcus Rashford leaves, is Garnacho going to go? Is Casemiro going to go? But we're going to talk about all the latest Manchester United news because Ruben Amorim will be disappointed. He set the board a 2-week deadline to get his business done, to get his business sorted, and they have failed with that. So we're going to start by talking about the Garnacho news. We'll then talk about if United are going to sell him or not, the transfer crisis going on. Rashford, we've got updates on Sekakona, Diego Leon, their playing time revealed. The latest on Dorgal's transfer, who Fabrizio Romano linked us to yesterday. Updates on Harry Maguire, 4 exits from the academy, and more. So hello and welcome back to Alice Talks Football, and welcome back to your 10-minute Manchester United news roundup. If you do enjoy today's video, please do go ahead and hit that like button. Let's dive into it. Napoli sporting director Giovanni Manna met with Alejandro Garnacho's agents in Spain to understand the feasibility of a transfer. Manchester United's 70 million asking price is considered too much by Napoli. The feeling is it needs to be lower fee or Napoli will abandon the deal. It was also said that Napoli made a 40 million offer for Alejandro Garnacho, but United were asking for a 50 million plus add-ons one. So, Damarzi is saying that Napoli sporting director has met with Garnacho's agent in Spain to understand the feasibility of the transfer. United asking for 70 million. Napoli see that as too much. Napoli have made a bid of 40 million. United are asking now for 50 million plus add-ons, but Napoli abandoned the deal. Pete Hall said that Napoli are interested in signing Alejandro Garnacho this month, with Manchester United willing to part ways with a fee between 50 to 60 million if could be agreed. Pure FFP profit, I think it is something that United would consider due to the FFP profit. But the Muppeteer said that Napoli are not at a point where they're making bids for Garnacho, and United are not actively looking to sell Garnacho, is what they've said. So my honest opinion with the Garnacho situation is if he's going to go, he's going to go in summer. I don't think he's going to go in January. I think Napoli are interested in Garnacho, but I think the focus is on getting Rashford out, and I think in January, when there's limited options to replace them with, I don't think Ineos would want to sell both Garnacho and Rashford in January. I think Garnacho could be available in the summer if Ruben Amorim doesn't see him as a long-term fit for the system. But because Garnacho is so young, so raw, got so much potential, and was one of the players that Ineos want to build around, I think he's semi-safe, but he's not as safe as Maino or Yoro or people. But I think he's one of those where if Amorim decides in the summer he's not the ideal fit for my system, he's someone United would sell to raise funds because there's going to be teams interested in him. I don't believe that United are going to sell Garnacho in January. Even if Garnacho's agent is meeting with Napoli, I don't think we will. Maybe if Napoli come in with a 60 million bid, maybe we do. Because 60 million's a fair bit of money. And maybe United think 60 million pure profit. This can go somewhere. Maybe they do. But I think Napoli would have to proper pay up in January. And Napoli aren't one to proper pay up. Napoli are one to normally mug you about in the transfer window. So Garnacho's agent is apparently having meetings and, there's meeting exits and all of that. So Garnacho's agent is looking at potential exits, but I don't think anything will happen. I think the focus is on getting rid of Rashford. It was said that United want to make signings more of a long-term thing than waste loads of money on loans. I think one thing that Manchester United have done in the past is we've often, brought in a Weghorst on loan or a Gallo on loan, whereas we maybe need to stop those kind of deals, and the next striker or next attacking player we bring in is going to be someone that is top, and we spend the big money on. I think that's what we need to do. I think we need to move away from loan deals, or, I think Kolo Muani is better than nobody if we lose an attacker, but we need to move away from out-form loan deals and actually sign someone that we're like, wow, what a signing. Cunha, Gyökeres, for example. Antony's open to joining Real Betis. We'll get some updates on that this week. Shaw is unlikely to leave this window, but United will explore moving Luke Shaw in the summer. And United have been following Inacio, although they couldn't confirm if United had made a bid or not for Inacio, which has been reported from sources in Portugal. To watch And the MLS is becoming interested in Casemiro. There's a lot of talk about Casemiro to Saudi. A lot of journalists were talking about it. Now these journalists that said Casemiro's in talks with Saudi seem to be backtracking a little bit. But there is talk of MLS and Casemiro. Now, it wouldn't be a Manchester United video in January without talking about Rashford, and I'm so bored and fed up of talking about the Rashford situation, so I'm literally just going to tell you the latest on it. Marcus Rashford's brother has scheduled a meeting with Manchester United for Wednesday ahead of potential move to AC Milan. Marcus Rashford's representatives have been in Milan and at least one other European city to talk about a possible January move. Any agreement will come down to Manchester United's willingness not to pay a portion of his salary. It is felt that while there is a lot of interest, bridging the gap is not close. So what's being said on Marcus Rashford is there's a lot of interest there, Barcelona, Milan, Monaco, Dortmund, but not many people are going to be able to afford Rashford's salary, and it might depend on how much United are willing to pay. United wants someone to cover at least 80% of Rashford's salary. United don't want to be paying 50% to send an attacker out on loan when we're not scoring goals ourselves. Now, I think AC Milan is looking the most likely destination. I think his first choice is Barcelona, who are interested in him, but the question marks around if Barcelona can afford him. I think AC Milan is looking at the most likely, although they also are looking at Kyle Walker, and I don't know if they can bring in both because of certain rules with two English players. So they're looking at Rashford and Kyle Walker. They could go with Kyle Walker. And Dortmund are very, very interested, but Dortmund do not want to pay a big package to bring Marcus Rashford in. So there's a lot of interest in Rashford, but I think his wages is going to make it difficult, and that's probably why it hasn't been done yet. And I'm fed up of talking about it, but a decision for Marcus Rashford is expected to be made in the coming days. Rashford is set to make a decision on what club he wants, and they're expected to tell the board that. And hopefully things should advance with Marcus Rashford. He's expected to make a decision, and Manchester United is expected to be told of that decision as well. So it'll be interesting to see what happens as well. But let's dive into some more news. Diego Leon and Sekou Kone are both seen as high potential young players who should progress to the United first team, which is great. That's what we brought them in to do. Young players, they come into the academy, but like Ahmed, should progress. Interestingly, Arsenal did enter talks with Diego Leon, but were beaten to his signature by Man United. So we've beaten Arsenal on and off the pitch this week. Good stuff. Diego Leon and Sekou Kone are probably two players I expect to be looked at in pre-season, potentially get a few minutes here and there next season, but I'm not expecting them to be heavily involved just yet. A little bit like Sekou Kone is injured, but I don't expect him to have any involvement until next season. Maybe we see him on pre-season. In terms of other youth players, it was said that Dan Gore and Harry Amas could leave Manchester United on loan this month, and talks have been held to prepare Harry Amas for a loan in the January window, but the source has stressed the move must be the right one for the young defender, and a loan deal won't be agreed for the sake of it, which is absolutely fair. He's still only 17. I still think with just how limited we are at fullback, you might as well just keep Harry Amas around. I know physically he wasn't the best, but technically he showed some good stuff in pre-season. It was also said that Ethan Wheatley and Ethan Williams are under consideration for possible loan exits this month as well. So Ethan Wheatley, Ethan Williams, Harry Amas and Dan Gore could all leave United on loan this month. For me, I think Dan Gore probably needs some minutes in his legs alone. Ethan Wheatley could probably do with a loan. Harry Amas could probably wait another year. But yeah, it's good to see if we can get some good loan moves for the youngsters. Because I'd like to see the youngsters do well on loan, get some experience playing in the Championship League, League One, and maybe we'll see them in pre-season. It was also said that when the Manchester United hierarchy met to discuss plans for January and summer, Ruben Amorim made it clear that he wanted an extension for Maguire, which is fair enough. My only worry about Maguire's extension is more to do with the fact that his wages are 200k a week and he's injured a lot, which I think is a lot of money. But other than that, I think Maguire's a good squad player. When you realise that we're losing Lindelof and Evans for free, and that Maguire's a good squad player, I'm very happy for Maguire to stay. The only concern about it is the wages he's on to be a squad player and the injury record. But he's been very good lately, and I'm very happy for Harry Maguire to stay. Continuing on, as reported yesterday, Manchester United added RB Salzburg midfielder Nene Dorgals to their list of options for the January/summer window. He's being monitored by United and initial talks have taken place, says Fabrizio Romano. He was signed by RB Salzburg from the same club that we've signed Sekou Kone for. So it's got Christopher Bivol all over it, and this one could be one to watch. I don't know if we're going to make a move for him or not, but if Marcus Rashford leaves, United may look for another attacker. Is he ready-made? No. Is he a player that you could see Bournemouth picking up, and then maybe after 2 years in the Premier League you see United liking? Yes, but it's a signing. I'd have to do more research on the guy, but he looks like he's athletically good and could fit Amorim's system. But it's one of those where it could be a Dan James, or it could be like a really, really top player. You just don't know. You've almost got to put the faith and trust in the board there. But look, that's all the United news in 10 minutes. Thank you for watching. Bye.